Growing up, I had dreams and aspirations, but always felt like the kid that didn't fit in. For the most part, I wasn't a bad kid, but when I made the transition into adulthood, I turned to the streets for guidance. This led to getting locked up in juvenile hall, doing time in CYA, and eventually a 120-month sentence in federal prison. I had a lot of time to think and reflect during my federal sentence, so I share with you what I learned, hoping I can positively influence someone else's life with Prison Talk. What's up? Big Herc 916. Get down with another fresh out. You know the old saying, it's either control by divide and conquer? Well, that's exactly what they do in the United States of America, man. Anytime you feel like you're trying to get your footing or you're trying to find some type of balance, they throw another curveball so that you can never get your footing. And you think one side is for you and the other side is against you. Democrats, Republicans, liberals, conservatives, those are terms they use to define certain groups of people. And they have us arguing and going back and forth on topics that they create and then act like they came up with a solution for a problem they created. But then when you hear them disagree on things that are universal truth, it just makes you wonder, these people are the same people, man.
Again, rejecting another push to make it an automatic felony to purchase or solicit a 16 or 17-year-old for sex.
Not only did Democrats block this latest attempt to ramp up the penalties for the buyers in the child sex trafficking industry, they also sidelined Sacramento's Democratic Assemblymember Maggie Krell, who has made this her life's work. Democratic leaders promised to keep the conversation going, but they're leaving Krell, an expert, out of it.
After an hour of closed-door planning, Democrats emerged with a deal that stripped Sacramento's Democratic Assemblymember Maggie Krell from her own bill that tries to crack down on the consumers of the child sex trafficking industry. She originally proposed the automatic felony for the older teens this year, noting state laws are inconsistent for the trafficker and the buyer. But that piece blocked by the Public Safety Committee earlier this week.
That right there, it tells me that these people are basically in cahoots together, because there's no way you could be friends with somebody who was against punishing someone for harming kids. Who would vote against making a person that's predatory on young people a felony? Who would vote against that? That's like saying if you had a homie and you told him, hey man, you know, so-and-so over there, dude is a weirdo, blah, 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 and he's gonna get dealt with. And then you was like, oh man, dude is cool, he ain't that bad, man, he all right. You would look at him and the other homies would look at him and you just take off on him. Wouldn't be no explanation left, because that means he's cool with it and he would entertain somebody who engages in that type of activity. But when you have two parties and universally you don't see that as being a universal truth, what does that say for the other side? And these people are in office. Some of the stuff, man, I see going on and they put in the mainstream media, and you hear about certain bills, you know, trying to be passed or be blocked. It just really shows me how much we're being manipulated and played, and how they have us feeling like some kind of way, like these people are really working in our best behalf. It's just like everybody arguing over the tariffs, right? And when you look at the whole tariff situation and who's not been paying tariffs over the past however many, almost 50 to 80 years, and yet Americans are paying tariffs when you try to export your stuff to those countries. Why is everybody upset about that when obviously it's got to be addressed at some point in time? You don't want to get it addressed now, so want your kids to address it later on. But I mean, that's just one of the things that I find so stupid in conversations. And yet, when you see all the government waste and spending, people are upset because this guy's investigating this stuff. They're like, what is he doing investigating this stuff and he has access to this? I'm like, you're worried about access? You're not worried about the information that's being exposed? You're not worried about the fact that these people are steady taxing the shit out of you to where you barely have enough time to spend the weekends with your kids. You got to work 8 hours a day, 5 days a week to put a roof over your head, and they're able to take whatever money that you're giving them and trick it off on all kinds of bullshit. You're upset about that. Who who argues with something like that? What type of idiocracy is that when you're mad about somebody showing you that this guy's ripping you off, but yet they're saying you got to pay taxes on it? How does that make sense? Only an idiot would be upset about something being exposed that benefited them. Do you think that your taxes are really funding the government? You have the Department of Transportation, you have the Department of Energy, you have all these big businesses. Do you not think that those big industries alone aren't enough to fund the government? Do you not think that? Look at the statistics, man. 94%, I believe, of the stock market is owned by like 10% of the wealthiest people in the world have stock. Some other people, they might have a 401k, but as far as one of the individual stocks, 10% owns like 90 something percent of the stock market. And here you are worried about these people exposing, and yet they got you grinding like a slave out here, man. You're working overtime, you're caught up in the sports, you're caught up in all the political mumbo jumbo. You caught up on, the race thing. Every time something they need another distraction. Oh, this lady says something about this race, called them an N-word, and then now that turns into a GoFundMe. You got this over here as a GoFundMe. I mean, dude, literally, we're chasing our tails out here. If they just lowered gas to $1 something a gallon, and they could do it. Gas in the Middle East and a lot of the countries where they have oil, the gas is cheap as shit, 60, 80 cents a gallon. If they lowered the gas, you know how much more freedom you could have? It wouldn't matter what the tariffs were. If they lowered the gas, imagine if gas was $1. Imagine, you could just drive your car for $1. See, they don't want you to have any liquidity. No luxury money in your pocket, nothing extra. The only money you have extra for is to buy shit fast food. You can't even buy a quality meal. Majority of the people in America are in the same position, and I would imagine want the same things. I don't know anybody that would endorse another person trafficking their kid and vote against it. So why are these people in office voting against it? That's what I'm saying. That's when I hear that, and then the person, they're sitting there next to them, and then they're going out to the bar and drinking and talking about their next session in Congress. How can you even have dinner with a person like that? They're arguing over the tattoos on a gang member's hand. These people are so cornballish. They're arguing about a guy's tattoos, whether they were photoshopped or not. Come on, man. They must think we're stupid, man. And yet they don't want to put the trades back in the schools. They don't want to help the inner city communities. They're worried about all this other shit going on rather than American people themselves. They don't give a damn. It's diabolical out here, man. It's diabolical unless you wake up, and a lot of y'all don't read enough stuff to even know what the hell is going on. Man, you're getting whooped. literally mentally, spiritually whooped. And that's why people do all this crazy shit. And the big divide is the race. Play the race card, but that don't work. They want to traffic the kids and they want to play the race card. These people play us, man. They play us and they just have us to where we're just sitting here and you know, the only escape from all this is getting out, talking with other like-minded people, financial literacy, and having the freedom to think and actually look at situations beyond just reaction. See, when you have financial literacy and you can invest your money, you have time to sit back and think. You ain't got to go to work every day. You can start seeing things for what they are. You can start seeing the curtain and what's being, you know, played behind the curtain in the games, and realize that things aren't what they say they are. You could travel, meet other people, other cultures, interact. You realize they've been lying because, you know, you travel around just in the United States, you'll see a lot of different places that aren't what you think they are. People aren't what you think they are. And what they're selling us is a lie so that we can continue to not have any direction. And we basically, you know, are cogs in the wheel. We eat, we shit, we go to work, we make these companies money, we purchase stuff, we buy stuff from these factories, this, you know, this shit that they say cost, you know, 20, 30,000 and it costs $300 to make or $50 to make, and you just waste your money. And yet, you know, everybody wants to have nice things. Everybody wants to, you know, take care of their family, have a safe environment, but yet you have two groups of people, so-called separate parties, and they vote on opposite ends of the table, and you got these extremes. And in some cases it's like, who in their right mind would not want, even like I say, for instance, a family to protect themselves? Oh, you can't have a gun to protect. What do you mean you're gonna wrestle with a guy with a gun coming in your house? If a guy is violating your household, he gets a pass and he has more rights than you protecting your family? Get the hell out of here, man. There's no way. But that's how some of these states are. California. Oh man, you weren't in grave danger. Oh, get rid of Colorado. Get rid of all any gun beyond a hang, you know, barely a shotgun. You know, they don't want you to have nothing. What they want you to learn kung fu and fight off the criminals. Shit is crazy. The shit is crazy. And if you look at some of these states and the people that run them and the type of shit they endorse, taking your kid if you don't agree to allow them to take certain puberty blockers, or, you know, we're going to take your child if you don't. I mean, really? You're taking my child and I'm an adult? That tells you, man, a lot of you don't even have no power over yourself, because you're a corporate entity. You're basically devoid of any powers in law. If they can do that, right? You ever thought about that? These people, man, and it's the same group of elite people who are running everything. And like I said, they keep us down here arguing, fighting, you know, acting like, oh, you know, it's kumbaya, but their whole game is to have two antitheses, so that there's always fighting, there's never an agreement. And even things that should be a universal truth are controversial. They don't have the same answer. You know, a guy in women's sports is that's okay. That's all right. You know, you don't choose your sex. I mean, that's crazy, man. California State Prison, they got dudes in there 200 pounds, 6 foot, walking around with women, raping them. But that's okay, because that's what they choose. They choose to identify as a woman. Some of this stuff is backwards, and the people And for people to even allow that to go on, it makes you wonder how effed up it is, man. This shit is fucked up. If they're allowing that to go on and people are arguing with that, people are arguing with this guy not getting a felony because he tried to go online and hook up with your child that's underage. People are arguing with that, and then throw another distraction in the game. Let everybody run over to the distraction. Get them arguing about that. Republican, Democrat. If they really care, why don't they? If they really care, Republican or Democrat, if the Democrat really cared, or Republican, why don't you just do the right thing? Why is it even a question now that you wasted all that money? Everybody in America should be tax free for the next 100 years, right? If you could spend all that money throwing it away to Sesame Street and Afghanistan and sex changes and on frogs and wherever, if you could do all that crazy stuff, giving Social Security to people who are 150 years old, why just give the American people no taxes? Let everybody try to get on their feet, right? If most of the people didn't have to pay tax on stuff and they just lived, how much further could they get? Maybe they have some money to invest now. Now they can put money back into the economy and have passive income, dividends. Most people have never seen a dividend on stock. They don't even know what that is. They don't know how to buy a mutual fund or a T-bill or have a bar of gold, have an asset. What if people were given that opportunity, man? All this exposure, nobody's going to jail. They talk all this stuff. Not one person that went to jail. Fauci didn't go to jail. Bill Gates ain't in jail. These dudes, you seen all this stuff come out about the whole jab and all that, but nothing's happened. They showed up. They had HIV in there. They had all type of just immune system uh, things that would just crush your body. I mean, the more you get it, the weaker your body. I mean, all these studies have came out that were called conspiracies, and nobody went to jail. But you sell a crack rock, you go out there and slang some cocaine, you go out and get pulled over with some drugs on the streets, and you're slanging, you're going to prison, man. That's a criminal continuing enterprise. They find out you've been doing it for a while. These people, man, nobody's going to jail. So why they keep teasing us with it? Insider trading, you get inside information and you through somebody at a corporation and you make a bunch of money, they're going to investigate you. But nothing happened to these people, man. That's what I'm saying. It's the same team. None of them go to jail. Kickbacks from Ukraine. This guy got millions. This guy got millions. It was both. Both sides got millions of dollars. Republicans and Democrats got kickbacks. It's all in Doge. They showed all the people who got all this money. Nobody goes to jail though. But yet they want to bust all these gang members and dudes in the streets running around. They're not even a threat, man. They're not even they're smaller than an ant on an elephant's ass, man. And they make all these big busts, but no, the big mafia people, the big gangsters, nothing happens to them. That's how you know we're getting played by both sides. Nobody's shown any integrity by doing what they said they're going to do and locking up the people who are the real criminals, who are robbing the people of America, of their rights, of their freedoms, of their financial ability to enjoy life to the highest level. These millionaires, they don't care about the price of gas. They don't care about the price of steaks. They don't care about the price of milk, the price of eggs. But if you're a person who's middle class and you're trying to make it and you got 3 or 4 kids, you are hit. You got to buy the cheap shit. And all the cheap shit is filled with poisons. All of it, the quality is straight shit. Seed oil and everything, straight shit, man. But all this has come full circle from them, when talking about this bill. And when I seen that, and I'm like thinking, like, it doesn't even make sense that we have two parties when something that face forward is debatable. And then you start looking at all the other things that they argue over, and you're like, man, this shit's a joke, man. These people laugh, they drink wine together, they're having wild little swing parties, booty parties up in the Senate. You remember when they were catching those guys filming up in there, doing all kind of nasty shit? These people, man, they do everything they tell you that you will get exposed for. They're doing, but yet they want us to keep arguing amongst each other and getting mad and making everything a separation and divide. This is a cold game, man. And I see it on the streets, and it's the same game they play in prison, man. The same game the warden plays on a small scale. The divide and conquer game. I don't know when you guys are gonna wake up, when people are gonna wake up. I see it, and I say certain things, but then, like I said, I look at the big picture, and at the end of the day, they're all on the same team. What agenda is different than the other agenda? All I can say, you guys out there, keep your hustle going on and start tucking away a little bit. Look at some investments, look at different things. People are like, oh, the stock market. Look, man, the wealth is built in the market, bro. The market and acquiring real estate. But real estate is a little bit more expensive to get in. But if you can get in some of these dividend stocks, there's some stocks, some blue chips that pay. And if you put away your little bit of bread here and there, you can build something up. And it might be 10 years down the line, but 10 years later, you'll be like, yeah, you got your own little investment portfolio, and you're not caught up in the rat race as much. Because if you're working every week for your money, man, you're getting screwed. These people, you know, they want to talk about tariffs, man. Lower the gas prices, man. Lower the gas prices. Lowering the gas prices will lower the prices of food in the grocery store right there. We have all the oil. Lower the gas prices. You cut gas prices. Okay, the price of transportation drops. The price of food drops. The ability for people to now spend time with their family increases. The productivity increases because people are happier. People have more freedom. But that's not the game, man. Freedom? Come on, man. So this is, they have, this is fiefdom, man. The lords and the paupers. Same old shit going on, man. It just, people got cars and they wear different clothes now and they shower. They ain't shitting in the streets, man. But it's the same game, man. But it's just dressed up different. People on the same side. They both are vote this way on this one. I'll vote this way on that one, man. Come on, man. Where's the truth at? Leave a comment, share the video. Let me know what you think, man. And when you just see, like I said, when you just watch something like that, and somebody says, "Oh man, we're gonna block making messing with kids a felony, or we're gonna block, you guys for so you have to pay taxes." I mean, when you hear stuff like that, well, we feel that the people should have to pay something. You're like, why? You mean we found out you've been wasting the whole time? So why are we paying into this? Look at the big picture, man. Is it two roads going like this, or the two roads going like this? One just takes longer to get there, and these people keep acting like they have somebody that cares about you, man. These people, man, do you think they really care about you? These people in office, you think they really give a damn about how you and your family's doing? They're millionaires. I bet you there's nobody in Congress who's not worth at least 3 or 4 million. I bet you they're all millionaires. Some of them worth 20, 30, but I bet you everybody in there is living in a close to $1 million home, and they're millionaires. And whatever goes on with the economy doesn't impact them one bit, because they have all their kids in private schools, and they got a whole different standard of living, man. And everybody else, fend for yourself. And we're going to keep you guys, when you try to organize, we're going to keep you arguing and make sure you guys hate each other and promote that anytime we get a chance, so that you guys continue to fight amongst yourselves and not organize to build something together. Cold game, man. Big Kirk 916. Prison.